What would you do if you had an extra day of the week? What would you do if you had one less day a week? Reduce hour-long meetings to 45-minute meetings. When someone books a meeting with you, you book out the same amount of time that afternoon or the following morning. Why aren't you doing that?
Hello, we're talking today to Brendon Le Lievre. He's a leadership and dad coach, a coach supervisor, a facilitator. He's a friend. I've had him as a coach supervisor, and he's really good helping bring out the best in people. We've been friends for a number of years, and I think I first got to meet you at an ICF coaching gathering, and I just really started resonating with your knowledge of coaching, your expertise in the space, and your intent, which I deeply resonate with. Today we're going to be talking about some micro skills around busyness. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do?
All of that you've just mentioned, but also help people to work out how to be more fulfilled, more engaged, more connected in the work that they do, and put down that title of busy and focus their attention, their effort, their time in the areas that are going to get them most progress towards their goals.
And I'm really interested in some of those coaching questions that you've asked the senior leaders that you've been coaching, people who live those frenetic lives where they're constantly reacting from this to that.
When I work with people and they say, I'm just too busy to kind of do what I need to get done, first question I ask is, what would you do if you had an extra day of the week? And the insights or reflections just from hearing that question are often valuable in and of themselves. What they come back with is usually the thing that requires their attention the most. There's no wrong answer. It's just, what would you do more of if you had an extra day a week? And then how do we help find you the time to do that?
Yeah, I like that because it's also then enables them to guide the conversation. This is the thing that's most important to me, that I would ask for extra.
If I had an extra day a week, I would spend it reading. What would you do? Yeah. I'm intrigued. What was your reaction to that question?
I think I would spend it creating, doing art. Yeah. I think that the me time piece,
The follow-up reflection is, what would you do if you had one less day a week? And sort of what would you cut away?
That's a rigorous one.
Yeah, the leaders come back with a whole bunch of different stuff. And then, of course, the follow-on question from all of that is, well, why aren't you doing that? What's getting in the way of you doing those things if you know that to be the case?
And so in that question, then, one less day a week, the counterpart, I'm really forced to look at, well, what is it that I could do away with? If I had to do away with it, what would I pitch or offload or give to someone else? You're right. Like, well, what's preventing me from doing that now and freeing up an extra day a week?
So you can go and create.
That's right. Yeah. And the argument, of course, I could see myself, well, everything's essential. I couldn't give up another day. But of course, you can. If you look at it that way, it forces me into some rigor of what could I do?
And usually the people I'm working with spend 4 or 5 hours a day in meetings. And one thing that I've been working with people to try, see if it works, is to reduce hour-long meetings to 45-minute meetings. And you still get stuff done, but you just get that 15 minutes back a day. And so that's an hour a day back in your calendar for you to do whatever you would like already. 5 hours a week, 20 hours a month, adds up pretty quickly. That's 3 days, nearly, of work day. There's time there quickly, and the work and the meeting activity still gets done. So let's just do 45-minute meetings.
Well, and I think too, make sure that meetings have a point, have a purpose. Without that, sometimes the meeting could have been an email.
There's a news article I was reading where new leader went to a meeting. There were 60 people in the meeting, and she started the meeting by saying, we're just going to go around the room and hear about why you're here. And she listened to the first 2 or 3 people talk and went, oh, well, thank you for attending today, but we won't need you for the rest of this meeting. You can leave. And next, away we go. And they spoke for a bit, and she was like, no, you're good. You can leave as well. And then the article said that people around the other side of the room just stood up and went, well, I don't need to be here then, and walked out. They got it down to 12 people. Meeting much more targeted, much more effective. And I thought, isn't that a courageous way to approach starting a new role in a new meeting? But good outcome.
It is about that, isn't it? It's targeting who needs to be here for this decision. If we're meeting for a purpose. And if it's a purpose that can only happen when we're together. Sometimes we're not in charge of our own diary. Our diary fills up. There's people vying for our attention. What's some advice in that space?
I'm a big advocate for planning and time blocking as much as we can. But as you say, often that plan lasts just the amount of time it takes for us to kind of put it in our calendar. And so what I've been working with recently, following reading Cal Newport's book, Slow Productivity, when someone books an appointment with you or a meeting with you, you book out the same amount of time that afternoon or the following morning in your calendar for you to make progress on something that you'd like to focus on and to be really intentional about that. And so it's not keeping people away from your calendar and saying, no, I've blocked that time out for planning, but it's just helping you take control so that we're not in the endless conveyor belt of meetings that happen now that we meet virtually. You don't even get to stand up and walk past the kitchen to recharge your water bottle. Just the next meeting appears and the next meeting appears. And so finding that space has been really beneficial for people.
What's a project on your list now that you're working on or that you're excited about?
I'm really excited about exploring this unbusy space and helping leaders to get unbusy and to feel more connected, more fulfilled, more efficient, get more of what matters done. That's where I'd like to really help leaders and kind of strip away the badge of honor that is busy into I'm fulfilled, I'm productive, I'm making a difference, I've got good impact. Because I think that's why most leaders lead. Leaders aren't the most senior people in the organization. Leaders are those that go first. They set a vision for the future and they encourage and inspire others towards it. So, block out time for things that are important to you. Block out time for lunch. Start doing the things that make progress towards your goal or the things you enjoy. Ask questions around, well, why am I in this meeting? What do you need from me in this meeting? And how can I best deliver that? Or could this meeting run for 5, 10, 15 minutes shorter? And let's just see what happens. So being really intentional about where we spend our time, where we focus our energy, and how we are connecting with what's important to us. The system isn't always going to support us in the first instance, but we know from systems theory that we have as much influence on the system as it has on us. And so often it just takes a couple of people to start it, and then the rest of the system will reset or change around that. And you can have been the leader that has started that initiative. So
I think that's a really valuable point there too, because you're right. We are working within a system, in a context. And if we can shift that and be aware of that, that context can shift and help us to create a place where we can thrive as opposed to just survive the grind. What would folks do if they wanted to get in contact with you?
Website's probably the best place to track me down and see more about what I do. So that's hareconsulting.com.au, H-A-R-E consulting. Or just send me a LinkedIn request and say that you've seen the video with James and I, and I'd be happy to connect and stay in touch and hear more about what you're doing and how we can help get you unbusy.
Thanks so much, Brendon.
Thank you.
Back in the scene. Oh my God, Brendon's amazing. I gotta book in with him. And scene.